Welcome to the MENA Surge podcast, the ultimate source for all things Web3 and FinTech related in the MENA region. Powered by FinTech Surge and Future Blockchain Summit, taking place at Dubai Harbor, October 15th through 18th, alongside Expand North Star and in association with GITEX Global. We're here with Prakash, CEO and co-founder of Enjinstarter. Thank you for joining us, Prakash.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit about Enjinstarter and yourself, and how did the idea for Enjinstarter come about?
Sure. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've built and sold companies, been in crypto since 2016. We started Enjinstarter with a vision of democratizing early stage investment opportunities. We saw there was a new asset class that was being formed, and it was restricted to a few. And what we did is we wanted to leverage our network, secure some of these early stage allocations, and bring that to our community. So that's primarily when we started Enjinstarter in April 2021. So we're slightly more than 2.5 years now. Next month, we actually celebrate 2 years.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, as a token. So we launched our token in October 2021. We raised 5.5 million through our token sale. And then what we do is we provide a platform for projects similar to us who want to raise capital to leverage our platform to raise money, right? So we've done about 60 projects in the last 2 years. We've invested in small ticket sizes in about 80 companies, primarily focused on gaming, entertainment, and the Metaverse. And it's something that was trending at that point of time. A lot of people wanted to get into the space, and we went out to secure these allocations.
Absolutely great. So gaming and entertainment in the Metaverse. I think that's something that we like to see a lot more of, is the use cases for the blockchain and for crypto, and how can we actually create a space that people are actually interested in getting involved in. Right. And so 60 projects since 2021, is that as remarkable as it sounds to me? That's fast growth, right?
Well, it's been a lot of work, but thankfully we've had a good team. To answer your question, really, where the blockchain solves a key role is in the digital ownership, right? So there's a whole lot of these new games that are coming about, and if you actually participate by buying these tokens, you actually get to own a piece of that game, which traditional AA, AAA games do not allow you to do that. And that's really where we see Web3 and gaming coming together. It's still very new. There's still a lot of infrastructure that needs to be built, but we're slowly getting there. And there's a whole lot of people who are actually solving it at this point in time.
Amazing. And did you start all of this project from right here in Dubai?
No, I mean, we are currently still headquartered in Singapore. We look at projects all around the world. And we're currently setting up a base here in Dubai. We've gotten an in-principle for our license with VARA, and we're looking at launching Dubai entity in a big way in the later part of this year. Amazing.
So VARA being the Virtual Assets Regulatory Authority in Dubai, the first regulatory authority for virtual assets right here in Dubai. And you guys are actually located right next to the Dubai World Trade Center.
That's right.
Right next to where we go to work every day. So now you're starting to move into the Middle East. Why did you choose the MENA region for your expansion?
Sure. I mean, having been based in Singapore this long, we've been very fortunate to have had good regulatory support. But I would say after last year's trifecta, which the lunar crash, the Three Arrows Capital, as well as FTX, and they all had a very direct impact on Singapore. And from a regulatory perspective, I would say, we're in a frozen state at this point in time. We can't move backwards, neither can we move forward. But that's where we actually started seeing a huge opportunity here in Dubai. The regulator, VARA, has been very engaging with us. They spend a lot of time understanding our business model. They spend a lot of time understanding what is it that we're actually building for. And we are very fortunate to have been working very closely with them over the last year. And we strongly feel in order for us to build a business long-term, we need to have that regulatory support. We need to have a license. And that would ensure that the business last forever. And that's primarily why we're doubling down on our resources here. We're building here. And we definitely see this ecosystem growing in a huge way. The community here is very vibrant. There's genuine interest to actually participate in this space. And that's why we see Dubai as a key area for us to be establishing ourselves.
Absolutely, and I think you touched on a very important point that, Dubai is a very vibrant community all around, but also very much specifically in the Web3, blockchain, crypto, gaming space as well. And it's something that is really important for anybody that's looking to expand into this region understands is that we're doing everything we can, especially through our regulatory authority, to make things as safe and transparent as possible. And so with Future Blockchain Summit coming up, we know that everybody that we bring on board to be sponsors or exhibitors at Future Blockchain Summit needs to be VARA approved. So they are actually people that we know that if you're going to attend our event, you're talking to people that have been verified, that are safe people to interact with. Obviously, we don't know what they're doing, a year or two from now, but as of now, we know that right now they've been verified. It's not just, whoever can sign a check, but whoever is actually doing good, solid business. And you touched a little bit on gaming as well, and that's something that, as much as we tried to find the Web3 gaming, we're not seeing that many exciting things happening as fast as we necessarily would like to. But, 60 projects in 2.5 years, that's quite fast growth. So what is Enjinstarter doing to promote Web3 gaming, especially in the region?
Sure. To solve a big problem really is, you need gamers to actually come in and play these games. And that's one key thing that we've been focusing on, right? Helping a lot of our portfolio companies, especially those that have actual games that we can test and play around with, or they're ready to launch. We've been doing a lot of gamer acquisition, marketing, and there's a big need for us to actually work with local partners to actually localize some of these games for the region. We're clear that the region is hungry for games, but we need to make sure that the marketing, even some of the messaging is actually localized for the community. And that's what we've been doing for the past year, working with the right partners to kind of establish, local-based marketing, in some cases even localizing the content to Arabic so that it's relevant for this region. And we feel that this success will actually take off. Because in the early days, a lot of people just looked at it globally. They didn't have geographical focus when it came to marketing. And a lot of that was left to, luck, right? Depending on how the game gets picked up. We definitely did see a lot of that in the Southeast Asian region because, during COVID and post-COVID, there was a lot of people who were stuck at home and they were looking for games for entertainment, as well as an ability to earn a side income. But that trend is now shifting. People want quality. And I think what we're looking for as Enjinstarter is high quality games that are first entertaining before they actually have an ability for the user to actually earn. And I think that's one key thing that we're seeing shift over the past 2 years.
That's a really great point. Entertainment first, money second. Because for years and years, gamers have been playing games without making any money because they enjoyed playing it and it was fun to play. Right. And so now all of a sudden we're doing the play to earn model and taking the fun out. It takes away their entire purpose of playing these games. Right. So entertainment first, money second. If they can actually make money doing what they love, make sure they still continue doing what they love and they love doing it. Right?
That's right. I think that's key, right? I mean, gaming is still the biggest entertainment vertical. And if we don't address that entertainment value, forget about the economic value of participating in that economy.
Great. And so tell me a little bit about this localization that you're referring to. Is it that we're localizing games and we're making the game specific to the MENA region, or is it just we're doing Arabic marketing?
Yeah, I think we're starting off with the Arabic marketing aspect, working with local partners who have got access to local communities and being able to engage with them both online as well as offline. But eventually what we're looking at is even having the games adapted for Arabic and doing a whole lot of Arabic marketing. We're also kind of understanding the ecosystem a lot better. And we know the different time zones or the timing that we can actually launch some games. One big window that we missed was actually during the Ramadan period, right? And we thought, it's going to be very quiet, but actually that was the period where a lot of marketing and a lot of gaming acquisition was actually being done. And that's one key area that we're working with some of our portfolio companies and, targeting that in future.
Yeah, absolutely. Screen time definitely goes up during Ramadan, especially in this region.
Agreed.
So again, out of 60 projects, I'm sure you have a few, really exciting stories. Is there any specific success stories that you would like to share?
Sure. So we've got a project called One Rare. It's a food metaverse. And, when we first, it was a husband and wife team that's running it. And when they first talked about doing a food metaverse, we got really excited, right? Because food is something that everyone can relate with. And they've moved on, they've brought in big brands like Maggie to actually participate in the metaverse. And one exciting thing is the couple have moved from India to Dubai, and now they call Dubai home. And we're very, very excited about the journey that we have taken with them. It's been a long journey, but they keep hustling. They've been building through the bear market. And these are the kind of founders that we want to support, right? We don't just want to support the projects that are there during the bull market, and when tough times come, they leave. But, we want founders that are actually adapting and kind of understanding what the market needs are. And we're definitely seeing that energy moving, right? We have another partner called LandVault, who's one of the largest metaverse builders, in the world. And he's moved from the UK to Dubai. And again, we're seeing a whole lot of that energy of smart people, smart capital that's starting to move to Dubai. And this is where we know it's time for us to kind of double down on this ecosystem, ensure that we have boots on the ground, we put our roots here and start building so that when good times come, we've already been present, we've been building. And that's the approach that we take from an ecosystem building approach.
Yeah, and that's the great strategy, right? Whenever things are slow, that's when you work on yourself, you sharpen your tools. Whenever it picks up, now you're ready to really take advantage of the upswing, right?
That's right.
I have to ask you, how does food in the metaverse operate?
Well, it's creating experiences. They've created recipes online. They brought in celebrity chefs to kind of create. So the gamification comes in more from creating these recipes, and they've got an entire NFT strategy where you can actually own a whole lot of digital assets in the metaverse, but there's a strong element of gaming within what they're building.
Great. And it seems like you have quite a diversified portfolio with these 60 different projects. What is the one aligning key feature that you look for when you're supporting these projects?
So we definitely look for strong teams. If they're serial entrepreneurs, we do favor them. If they have a working product, it again gets us really excited, especially during this time frame. But what's key is the team that they have brought together. If they have experience built and having launched games, I think it's going to be very, very crucial. And then the rest of it is things that we can actually come in and provide as value add to the projects.
Any big red flags that you say, don't do this, we will never pick up a company that tries to do this?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of projects that are very short term. They create a lot of pumponomics, as we call it. They create a lot of artificial hype. They use a lot of bots to actually give you artificial numbers. And these are major red flags because sometimes to solve the bad that these bots and fake traffic does cost us a lot of time and money, and it's not something that we want to embark on. We rather go with organic communities, but engaged communities that really believe in what these projects are building, and then we'll build with them for the long term.
Amazing. And so you and I were talking a little bit before we started recording about sustainability and impact. And, it is something that we're seeing more and more of being a key theme in technology in general, but also in the Web3 space. Since it is quite a new space, we realize we're in a unique opportunity to start from scratch with a sustainable, impactful solution. tell us about Enjinstarter's contribution to sustainability.
Sure. So it has been, close to a year that we've been embarking on this journey. We, had to do a lot of soul searching during the tough times. And we kind of looked at what our strengths are, what the strengths of the Web3 community is. And one key thing is the Web3 community has an ability of bringing people together, getting people to be aligned on a single vision. And we can use JPEGs to raise a whole lot of money. Why not use that same skill and that talent to actually now raise money for real world applications, right? And we definitely felt that Web3 needed a real world utility. And that's where we felt that impact and sustainability is one key area that we needed to focus on. And then we started going out to the market. We started speaking to non-profits. We started speaking to even small governments. And we found that a lot of these people are doing great work, but no one's actually hearing about the work that they're doing, and they're struggling to actually amplify the work that they're doing in the field, right? So this is where we felt that we could plug in with our ecosystem. We can plug in with our knowledge of what Web3 can provide, and we can solve some of these real world problems from a crowdfunding perspective or from a community growth perspective. And that's what we've been building for. There's so many problems out there that we believe that Web3 can solve. And we're also living in tough times where we're going from global warming to global boiling, which, every month is a record. July was the hottest month in
Ever.
History, right? Yeah. So definitely, I think there's something that all of us can play. And we've been doing that progressively. We've been supporting ocean conservation. We've been looking at carbon credits. And very soon we'll be launching something new where we're leveraging our VARA license to actually launch a launchpad that will be purely focused on climate financing. This is where we're looking for projects that we're supporting that are solving some of these problems. We are helping them from a crowdfunding and community building perspective.
That's great. And I was going to ask you as well, is Enjinstarter tackling the sustainability as an entity itself? Are you investing into sustainable projects specifically where those are really exciting? Or are you trying to inject the more sustainable, greener solutions into your current projects?
Sure. So we started our journey being ecosystem builders, right? So that's how we see ourselves as a company. This involves us doing events. This involves us doing a whole lot of partnerships. But the approach that we are taking now is that we see ourselves as value chain participants, right? So we look at a certain value chain, we look at opportunities from downstream all the way up to upstream, and then we find ways to actually build for it. But instead of trying to build the entire universe ourselves, what we have done is we are working with different partners that are solving within that value chain, and then we bring them together as a collective, and then we deliver that as a solution to the market, right? So I'll give you one good example. We see a big value in carbon credits and carbon credits coming into the blockchain. But in order for a project developer to get into the space, you need a third-party verification company, you need a digital measurement and reporting platform, you need a whole range of other partners. And a lot of people get lost in that process, right? What we have done now is we have identified and qualified a list of these partners that we're working with. When we approach a partner, we tell them this is the one stack solution, but it's not just us, it's a collective that we're delivering. And then we focus on helping these companies raise capital, and that's how we're launching the Launchpad here at the later part of this year.
That's great. And that's one thing that really excites me about the Web3 and blockchain space is you really do see a very collaborative spirit. It's not as cutthroat just yet. There's plenty of space for everybody. And you see a lot of the conversations that we have, there's always some sort of idea of collaboration with partnership with we do this and now we teamed up with these people that do that. And now we have a solution that, is actually doing something really useful, either in an industry or sector, or in your case, for the environment. So how do you see like Web3 and Metaverse specifically contributing to a more greener, sustainable society?
Sure. So I guess firstly, it's kind of leveraging the technology from a crowdfunding perspective. Secondly, I think there's a whole lot of experiences that we now can create on the Metaverse, which connects to the real world, right? So we're working with partners who are actually planting mangrove trees in rail in the UAE as a lead up to COP28, and now we're creating a metaverse experience for them. So the good work that they're doing out in the field in Jabal Ali Wildlife Sanctuary can now be replicated on the metaverse, and that good work now goes all around the world, right? So that's really where we feel Web3 is going to come in to kind of build new experiences and new ways to actually take good work and amplify that globally, and that's primarily where we are building on.
Great. And one of the things we were talking about, obviously, with partnerships, with collaboration, with approvals from regulatory authorities, government authorities, and we've seen internationally ebbs and flows with government support, government taking away support. This country is very pro, virtual assets. Now they're not very pro virtual assets. Sure. What do you think are some of the regulatory considerations that are involved when it comes to Web3 financing, blockchain financing?
Sure. So I guess, at the end of the day, we need to bring trust into the ecosystem, right? If there's trust, more investors will participate within the ecosystem. We believe that a lot more family offices, high net worth individuals want to participate in this digital asset space. But our longer term target is actually getting in more corporates to actually start participating in some of these early stage climate tech startups that will actually be solving some of these real world problems. But they need a regulatory structure. They need to feel comfortable with the partners that are providing that platform. And that's what we're building out, right? We're trying to build out an ecosystem, not just from a fundraising perspective, but from a custody perspective, right up to, how are these digital assets going to be off-ramped? And we actually need to build that end-to-end from a regulated environment, and that's where we feel a lot more new people will participate, right? So we're not really targeting the retail market in what we're trying to build, but the B2B market is going to be a lot bigger, and it's going to be a lot more exciting if we can actually unlock, and that's where we need regulatory support to actually, give that stamp of trust so that larger corporates actually come in and participate.
Absolutely. And I think that the word regulatory is not as exciting of a word. Nobody enjoys being regulated. But I think that the blockchain and Web3 space, the ones that are actually in the industry, they really get excited about regulatory frameworks and actual guidelines on how to stay safe, how to be transparent, because it really weeds out the ones that we don't really want anyway.
Agreed.
And as we become, I guess, more boring and it's less sexy than buying a coin and it 100xing, within the next 6 months, as things slow down a little bit and become a lot more organized, then we start to see the real benefits in our day-to-day lives. Whenever governments start implementing blockchain, whenever big businesses that we use on a daily basis, all of a sudden now we realize, hey, we're a lot safer now, we're a lot more transparent, we can do a lot more things because of this new technology, and I feel safe doing it. I think it's actually a really great thing that we're slowing down and looking at real use cases as opposed to buy this NFT, you're a billionaire.
That's right. Yeah, so the speculative, the industry needs to grow up. It started out with a lot of speculators. But at the end of the day, we're just buying a lottery ticket, right? In some cases, you win a lot. In some cases, you win nothing, right? It's arbitrary. But this is where, we need to focus on building sustainability within the ecosystem, right? And this is where regulations need to come in. We don't need to regulate ourselves. But if we actually choose to walk this path, which is tough, there's a lot of work, but this is where we can grow up as an industry. And this is where we actually bring in more people to actually participate and grow. And in order for us to do that, we need to walk this path, which is where we are today.
Great. And of course, Enjinstarter is a bronze sponsor of Future Blockchain Summit, and we're very excited to be partnering with you this year. And some of the conversation we're having sounds a little bit about like the panel discussions that you're going to be having on stage at the summit as well. Can you tell me a little bit about the conversations you plan on having at the summit?
Sure. So to be very honest, I'm very new in the Dubai space. It's only been about 1.5 years since I've been traveling, but I've been coming here, every 2 weeks. When I first came to GITEX last year, it was an overwhelming experience. I attend events all around the world, but I've never experienced anything the scale of what GITEX offered. And honestly, I got lost, right? Multiple times trying to move from one hall to another. But honestly, what I experienced was where I was convinced that, Dubai is the place that we need to put our foot and roots here. And one thing that really stood out for me in GITEX last year, firstly, was the flying car. And not only was it being showcased, but they actually demoed how the car was going to be flying. And then again, I thought it was going to be something very, very far down the road. And then they started saying that, there's soon going to be flights between Dubai and Abu Dhabi, and it's going to cut down the travel time. So that's where I started to believe that Dubai is a place where dreams actually come true. And if you have a belief in a dream, it's a good place to kind of come in and build and, kind of grow with the ecosystem. And that's when we started accelerating, our VARA application. That's where we convinced our board that Dubai is the place that, it needs to be set up. So we're very honored to be bronze sponsors this year. Last year I spoke on a panel. This year we're coming in a bigger way. And we're very excited to actually use GITEX and Future Blockchain Summit to actually launch AYA, which is going to be our impact launchpad, which is regulated. It's for global projects that are looking to raise capital, but it's only for accredited investors. And this is where we can bring a whole new level of trust. So we're very excited about GITEX. The energy that I experienced last year was amazing. Smart people from all around the world coming in. The conversations that we had, then the connections that we made at GITEX has been the way that we've built the business to date. And we're very excited, to return in a year to have actual tangible products that we're launching with regulations in place, with right partnerships in place, with a very localized brand and a localized strategy. So we're really excited about October, and that's primarily why I'm here in Dubai now.
Great. And you mentioned getting lost in GITEX last year. I mean, it is the world's largest tech event, so you can imagine the crowds that come along with it. So that's why we're excited this year to be expanding to Dubai Harbor, alongside Expand North Star, which is the largest startup and investor summit as well. Completely new location on the other side of Dubai. So at least if you get lost this year, you'll be in a little bit more of a concentrated area where it's going to be a lot more exciting of startups and blockchain and fintech and the real cool things, and not have to get lost in the government halls that maybe not as relevant to you.
Exactly.
So whenever we visit you at Dubai Harbor, October 15th through October 18th, what can we expect to see showcased at the Enjinstarter stand? Is there projects?
So this way we're going to be launching AYA. I mean, it's still dependent on us getting the full license, but this is where we're doing a teaser campaign. We're going to be doing something very interesting, at our booth. For anyone who actually signs up on our platform, we're actually going to be planting a mangrove tree on their behalf, and they're actually going to get a digital certificate on the blockchain that actually shows them that they actually own that particular tree, and they can connect with the tree in real time, online. And this is where we want to show, that we're not here just to talk about sustainability. We're going to walk the walk. And everything that we're doing, from making sure the platform is sustainable to the initiatives that we're supporting are going to be sustainable. I had the opportunity of going to Jabal Ali a couple of months ago to actually plant a mangrove tree. And it's a very, very special experience. If we get enough support from the community, we may even organize a small gathering and bring people who have signed up with us to Jabal Ali to plant it together. I think it's a magical experience when you plant a tree, and that's one way that we're going to be creating interesting engagement at our booth. But the primary purpose of our booth would be to launch AYA, but we're not doing this ourselves. We're bringing in our local partners, Myco, whom we are working with a lot with our sustainability initiatives, the Web3 streaming platform from Dubai. So we're going to be doing a lot of work with them, as well as we're going to be bringing in as many portfolio companies as we can to actually attend. That week, we'll be doing a whole lot of engagement that week. And that's primarily what you can expect from us at Future Blockchain Summit.
Great. I love that idea of planting a tree. So anybody that hasn't quite gotten their NFT yet, this is the first time they can get an NFT and actually help save the environment at the same time. So
there you go. Right.
Why not? You know, let's do it. So we're excited to see you at Dubai Harbor, October 15th through 18th. We're excited to have you as a bronze sponsor, partnering with Future Blockchain Summit, and we're looking forward to your panel discussions as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. Looking forward to exciting Future Blockchain Summit.
Great.